MUS 143 is a podcast dedicated to music lovers where we're going to review albums we believe are great, and hopefully you'll think they're great as well. We created this podcast to be able to express our love for the music, the artists, and the producers who put their heart and soul into making these great recordings. We're going to talk about production, lyrics, and other fun facts related to the albums. We want to build a community of people like us who truly love and appreciate music, where we can bond and have dialogue about the greatest songs ever made. And together, we can all make time for our love of music. All right, y'all, we back. MUS 143, the podcast. It's Mr. Pone speaking.
It's JG. What's going on?
Oh man, it's all good. We about to have some fun today. We got a new episode. We're gonna be covering the New Jack City soundtrack and also discussing the movie. But before we get into that, how you feeling, bro?
Feeling good, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah. I was definitely looking forward to this one. I was watching the movie, you know, thinking about some old times and all that. So it's gonna be fun. But before we get started, we always want to thank everybody who listens to the show, that's dedicated to the show. We really appreciate that. We appreciate your time. For anybody who does listen and they haven't subscribed, please subscribe on your podcast platform of choice so you can get the alerts for when we drop new shows. And we on Instagram and YouTube. You can subscribe there as well. And as I always say, if you dig in the show, let a friend or relative know.
Right.
I'm saying we trying to build this thing up. But so we're gonna talk about New Jack City today, right?
Mm.
So New Jack City was a film released in 1991. Now, this film was directed by Mario Van Peebles, right? So for anyone who hasn't seen New Jack City, I'll give you a basic rundown of what the movie is about. It's definitely gonna be some spoiler alert. So if you ain't never seen it and you don't want to know what happened, you might want to fast forward or watch the movie before you listen to this episode, because it's gonna be
Right.
spoilers all through the
Oh
episode
yeah,
anyway.
for sure.
But the movie is basically about a kingpin named Nino Brown, played by Wesley Snipes, and his crew trying to get rich off this new drug called crack that they discovered in 1986. And an undercover cop played by Ice-T trying to stop the spread of crack cocaine by Nino Brown and his crew, the Cash Money Brothers, on the streets of New York, also known as New Jack City. So the CMB, they wind up taking over an apartment building where they can make and sell the drugs right in one place instead of having all these different drug spots all over the city. And over the course of 4 years, they wind up blowing up and have a very successful operation. Ice T's character was willing to do anything to take down Nino Brown and stop the spread of crack on the streets. So he used Chris Rock's character to infiltrate Nino's organization. Now, Ice T, in the beginning of the movie, he was undercover in '86 trying to sell drugs to Pookie, who was Chris Rock's character, but Pookie was a stick up kid who tried to rob him during the drug deal, not knowing that he was a cop. Ice T winds up running him down and shooting him. Pookie later on winds up becoming addicted to crack and doing very bad, right? So Ice T sees him years later and helps him to get rehabilitated. He then hires Pookie to help him infiltrate Nino's organization with cameras and microphones. But Pookie couldn't handle the pressure and winds up going back to smoking crack and exposes himself to being caught for being high. They strip him down. They find out he's an informant. They kill him. They blow the entire building, which kills their whole operation that they had going 4 years strong. So now they got to start over, and Ice T goes undercover as a drug supplier to get into the organization himself. He gets close to Nino, but at the same time, Nino and his right hand man G Money are at odds because Nino started to become selfish and treated G Money like his subordinate rather than his partner, who actually put him onto the drug of the future. Also, Nino was sleeping with this skeezer named Uniqua that G Money was messing with first. And men catching feelings over women have gotten many dudes killed in the game. So G Money starts to turn away from Nino and has plans on going behind his back to cut a deal with Ice T to be the next kingpin. He also starts using crack himself, so his judgment is way off. He's just slipping big time. So Nino and Ice T and the whole C&B, they in a warehouse about to do a drug deal. And then it's exposed by Kareem Akbar, the educated brother from the bank, played by Christopher Williams, that Ice-T is a cop. So he remembers being at the scene where he shot Chris Rock back in '86. Guns are drawn. It's a full-on shootout between the crews and the cops. Nino and G Money get away. So Nino winds up killing G Money at their last meeting on the rooftop, feeling that he can no longer trust him, and he'll eventually get him busted. So Ice T has to go get Nino himself now, and breaks in his hideout apartment and crashes in there, whoops on him, and winds up taking him in. All right, so Nino goes to court with some high powered attorneys. He starts ratting and winds up getting a very light sentence. He then chuckles at Ice T, and Ice feels like he should have just killed him himself. So Nino is leaving the courtroom. He's doing an interview with the press, and an old man who has hated Nino since he took over his building pulls out a pistol, blows him away. It was a classic story of live fast and die fast. Now, how did you like that breakdown, being as though you've seen the movie 100 times?
I feel like I was just right there watching it. That's what it
I like
sounded
that.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Jack City is a classic, man. They said it took 36 days to film New Jack City.
That's crazy. That's not long at all.
Not long for it to be, as
Yeah.
powerful as it was. And Mario said all the blocks that they filmed on, like in Harlem, remained drug free when they filmed. I mean, obviously, right? Because who wants
Right.
to be hustling around all them cameras? But they said they had FOI out there and everything, securing the
Yeah.
blocks. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was a good time, when they was filming it. And I think it was a genius idea, right, to get Ice T to play that cop because back then, so-called gangster rap, right? At that time, it was so believable. Like, people really thought that these rappers was really killers like that, the way they
Yeah.
was rhyming, and I felt like he really took a risk playing that role because, rap was his bread and butter at the time. And if people wasn't feeling him playing the cop, or they just wasn't feeling the movie, it could have, hurt his rap career. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but the film was done so well and he was perfect for the role because of his street reputation. What's ill about the film, right, is we had these great gangster films that came before, like Godfather 1 and 2, you got Scarface, you got Goodfellas, Once Upon a Time in America, right? But it's like this was our film. It was a black director, predominantly black cast, black producers, and it was very well done.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like just the best of the best when it came to the actors, everything. And I think that's why it's celebrated in our culture so much, even though it's a film that's really surrounded by the crack epidemic and the destruction that it did to our communities. But it was just so well done that you just gotta respect it.
Right.
And the platinum selling soundtrack that we're gonna be discussing today, that was released in March of '91, and the music from the movie was actually out months before the movie came out, so it made the movie highly anticipated. And the one thing I noticed, man, was this soundtrack was like full of artists in their prime. And that's
Yep.
another thing that made the music so great. And we'll kind of get into that about by like when you look at the artists that were on this soundtrack, it's like, yo, everybody was like in their prime. One of the lines I want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Is the "Am I my brother's keeper?" That's a big, like, anytime you say that, people think of New Jack City, right?
Right.
And that comes from the story of Cain and Abel, right? And there's a scripture in the Bible, I believe it's Genesis 4:9, right, where the Lord says to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" He says, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Right? And now Cain was being sarcastic when he responded this way because he was known as the quote unquote keeper of sheep, right? That was his job, right? So God already knew Cain killed Abel out of jealousy, right? So you can go and read Genesis to get the whole story, but in the movie when they are saying, "Am I my brother's keeper?" they're basically saying that they're going to have each other's backs, they're going to be loyal to one another, right? But obviously that's not what happened. You know what
Right.
I mean? Jealousy, envy, greed, all of that will destroy all of that if you allow it to, right?
Right.
And what's even more ill is Nino winds up killing his brother at the end of the movie,
Full
right?
circle. Yep.
It's crazy when you put it all together. And speaking of that scene, right? The one thing I can say I did not like about New Jack City was that ending scene on the roof when G Money bent down when Nino pulled the gun on him, I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling that, man. Because my thing is, if he was going to shoot him, he was going to shoot him, right? He could have said all the lines that he said, like, CMB, we all we got, all that. But for
Hmm.
him to kneel down, nah, I wasn't feeling that, yo. I just felt
Yeah.
like I don't know whose choice that was, whether it was the writers, whether it was the actors, but that was the one thing where I was like, they shouldn't have had him bend down like
I
that.
think it was for them to for him to look more like I guess defenseless. Because the thing is that at that moment it was like, we knew something was going to happen
Right,
because so
exactly.
much had transpired beforehand.
Right,
So it was
right,
like,
exactly,
so it
exactly.
was it really, I feel like it was probably just another nod to, all right, let's see if we can make this character diminish this character and, show Nino for who he truly is. You know
Mhm,
what I mean? Like, so
mhm,
maybe that's what it is. I think that it was more of it wasn't a in your face type of thing. It was supposed to be, I guess, subtle, like one of those subtle adding things that kind of paints a picture. I think it was like
mhm.
that. So, but who
Yeah, it
knows?
just I felt like I think it just made him. I mean, he had already kind of looked a certain kind of way, right?
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
when Nino fronted on him in front of everybody, but I just feel like it made him look too soft when he did that.
Right.
And I was just like, why did they have to have him kneel down in front of him like
Yeah.
that?
No, I get.
I just wasn't feeling
Yeah.
that. But
Maybe to accept his fate. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
Listen.
think. Nah, I don't think it was that because I don't think. I think he was trying to convince him not to
Not to
kill him
kill him.
because he
Yeah. Yeah.
really loved Dino, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, I think maybe he was doing it in look trying to look as defenseless as possible. But
Right.
I
Right.
just felt it made him look too soft
Right.
for who he was supposed to be in the game.
Right.
I was That's the part that I wasn't
Especially when
feeling.
you just, you got people blowing people's heads off in broad daylight
Yeah,
and whatnot.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
you gonna bend down in front of this dude? Like, nah,
Yeah.
because it's like if you trying to convince your brother not to shoot you, that's one thing,
Right.
right? But to bend down, it was just too weak for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
That
know.
makes sense.
Another scene I want to talk about, right, is the turkey scene, right?
Oh
So
man.
this is now tell me if I'm tripping on this.
Uh,
Do you know how many people I feel like wanna be Nino Brown so bad and they want to live out their Nino Brown fantasies that they want to give out turkeys on Thanksgiving just because of that scene,
yeah.
right?
No. Yeah.
Like, you know how many dudes be like, yeah, I gave out 17 turkeys on Thanksgiving, right? It's like they want to be Nino Brown so
Yeah.
bad, you know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? Especially if they legit, they got
Right.
legal money. Oh man, they love to give out some turkeys, boy.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But I'm gonna tell you though, right? Peep the scene when Chris Rock is eating a turkey with the girl, they in the crack spot, right?
Yeah.
When the girl she said something, she's like, I was prom queen of King High School. This is beneath me, right? Do you know that the girl still had the prom dress on? If you peep,
No,
she
I did
still has
not.
like the prom dress, which led me to believe, right, that maybe she decided to get high for the first time on prom night. And her life was just devastated ever since. It's
Bruh.
ill when you think about it. If you watch that scene again, she has like the
Oh,
prom dress at the
yeah.
bottom.
I didn't peep that. I didn't peep
Yeah,
that.
remember Chris Rock was like, "You used to be the
Yeah.
prom queen, now you ain't nothing but the prom fiend." And yo, it's
Yeah.
like when you watch that scene, it's like, yo, that's crazy. And then
They
it's
made it
ill
look.
how you, huh?
Yeah, they really made that look like the crack spot, like
Yo, and that it was so many different types of people in there. Like remember, it was a lady in a business suit. It wasn't just like
yeah,
people that look like Chris Rock, right? You know
right.
what I mean? So they really had a lot of authenticity with that film. You know what I'm saying? All right, so before we get into the songs, did you want to touch on anything from the movie or
Um, well, you know what my favorite line is. Well, you probably don't know what my favorite line is. No, I'm gonna tell you what's funny, right? Um, when when uh when Stone first meets his counterpart for this job that they doing, they're
yeah,
trying to take down Nino.
yeah, yeah.
Bruh, the funniest thing, because he's like, you can see him trying to level with the dude. He's like, I want to thank you a lot, man.
Right,
He said, for
right.
getting me back in
Back
this
in this
war
war,
with
man.
this
This
guy,
guy, man.
yo. Like he really wasn't fucking with him, yo.
Yo,
He
that's
really
the
wasn't messing
truth.
with him.
For
But yeah,
real.
yo, I mean, me, bro. I done seen this movie so many times, bro. Like
For
I got,
real.
I'm like, I be memorizing the words and shit like that. So I
For
done seen it so
real.
many times. Um, I would say this movie. I think that this movie was so good because of its authenticity, yo. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that when the writers came and was doing this movie, they tried to be as realistic as possible. Which is why you got things like how you were saying with with being in a crack spot and it's other people other than just straight crackheads there.
Right, right.
Because that was the thing. These are like that's like the precursor to being a fiend. Like you just in
Right,
a business
exactly.
suit
Yeah.
coming in there getting your drugs or
Yeah.
whatever. I think that like they made sure that they covered all bases when
Mm-hmm.
they wrote this to make sure that it was as authentic as possible. That's why it's
Right.
revered
Right.
because of that reason.
And those performances, I mean, is just top
Yeah.
notch. You know what
But
I
I'm
mean? You
but you know
got
what? Wesley Snipes is a sucker. Though. I don't care what nobody says.
well, yeah, this
Yeah,
is the thing. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people love them some Nino Brown.
he's a
I
sucker.
said nobody pays attention to the fact that Nino was ratting in the courtrumm, right?
Bruh,
Like they
super
just
rat.
bypassed the fact that he said, if I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people with me. You
Yeah,
ratting. Like
bruh. He's like, yes, I was a member.
yes, I was a member. Oh
Yeah,
man.
man.
That
Like,
movie is classic, you
yeah,
know. So we're gonna get into the songs on this great soundtrack, right? And the first song that people might not even notice, right?
mhm.
Or the first piece that comes from a song is actually from Straight Outta Compton. You are now about to witness the
Oh yeah,
strength of street knowledge, right?
yeah,
So, the movie starting off like that, that's already powerful. And to me, I feel like that piece had to be influenced by Spike Lee because Spike Lee used Public Enemy to open up Do the Right Thing, which changed
absolutely,
film forever, right? To
absolutely.
use hip hop to open your film up, and he also used Flavor Flav to open up. I believe it was Mo Better Blues when he had him spelling Universal, and he was like, "Yo, Spike, start the movie." G, you remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
It was, I
yeah,
think it was Mo Better Blues, right?
yeah.
So like it was like him incorporating hip hop into the movies. It had to influence Mario to use that to open the movie,
Right,
because that was like really groundbreaking for Spike to do that, and that was '89, and to see that Warner Brothers logo and them say you are now about to witness the strength of street, and then boom, you know what I mean? You right on the Statue of Liberty.
yeah,
They doing that ill helicopter shot. Like the movie starts
yeah,
off like we was too young, right, to see this in the movies. But I can imagine being grown. This your first time seeing this. 91, and you hear you are now about to witness this. You like,
yeah,
oh, and then
yeah,
boom, you right there on this, like it's
yeah.
on from the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So Mario was genius
Got
for
yeah,
setting
grab
the
your
movie
attention
off
right
like that.
away. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So the first song that we're gonna talk about, right, is For the Love of Money /
Mm,
Living for the City.
mhm.
This is how the movie opens up and everything, and it samples the classic For the Love of Money by the OJs. Which was produced by the Untouchable Gamble and Huff,
Mm.
as well as Living for the City by Stevie Wonder.
A boy's born in hot time, Mississippi, surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city.
Now, these are two powerful classics, right? That they put together. They added a hip hop flavor to it. The record was produced by Vasal Benford. He wound up producing Don't Walk Away by Jade. He
That's the
did
joint.
It's All Right by Shantae Moore. So he had a lot of another joint he did that I love was Ralph Tresvant. He did a record for him called I Love You Just For You. So he had
Yeah.
a lot of great, R&B songs back in the day. And what was dope was Levert, right? The group Levert was doing the For the Love of Money vocal, and
Yeah.
Gerald and Sean were the sons of Eddie Levert of the OGs,
Right, right, right.
you know? And you got Latifah on there and she's ripping it. Another brother wants to win the Hustler of the Year award. How many Benzes and BMs can one man afford? It ain't just him, it's also you and that guy who won't be satisfied. So all of us is getting high. One hit for her, she's pulling down your drawers. One hit for him, is worth a check is yours. It ain't nothing but a small thing in a big city. See, you're living for the money, be the money,
Mm,
be.
mm,
Yo, like she was killing.
yeah.
Oh hell, the almighty dollar. Like she's killing everything
Yes, sir.
on this joint. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, that was perfect for them to get Latifah
Yeah.
on this joint. You know what I mean? And I always wondered, right, how they did that scene on the bridge in the beginning because that looked real. Like, nowadays it be
Yeah.
all this like CGI and stuff,
Yeah.
but it looked like my man was really hanging him over that bridge. I'm like, how did they do that?
Yeah, because the scene was like pulled out, and then you see it like kind of
Right, and he
zoom
was
in.
already there holding him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm like, how did
Um,
they do? And then when he dropped him, I'm like, okay, where did they drop homeboy? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just ill to me how they did that scene. Like,
right.
so I don't know. I was like, that's something. If I ever was able to talk to Mario Van Peebles, be like, yo, like, how was y'all doing that? Because I know my man wasn't up there really holding him like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the Dutta man. That was an ill name for a character,
For
right?
real. Yeah.
That was an ill name right there. For real. So what did you think about that record though? The
Yo,
For
I
the
love.
Love of Money
I
joint.
mean, it's obviously it's a classic, man. I love the way that it was like that transition between, like you said, Levert and Troop. You know what I mean? Like for them to,
Yeah.
it's almost like two generations of.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to mention Troop was on that joint.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
yep,
It's like
yep,
the transition between, like, okay, you got the elders that or the older people who were witnessing this happen, but we also got
right,
these young guys. You know what I
right.
mean? And this is their era, and they're going through it. So I think that, like, there's little subtle things that I feel like, just not even musically, but just that they put in the movie that
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like you got to kind of pick up on. But
Right.
song is fantastic. The like you said, Latifah, man, you already know we big fans
Yeah,
over here, and
yeah, yeah.
she kills anything that she gets on. So it's just it was a classic joint, man. Had a dope feel to it, and it's just one of them joints, man. When you hear that, when it first come on, you know what's on.
Yeah, that's the truth.
All hail the almighty dollar. Wherever there's money, you know power will follow. Never show a sign of being weak or face defeat at your feet. You drop the ball, the pass is incomplete. You're full, still got the goal to try to rule. But you failed New Jack School, and that ain't cool. It's kinda sad to see a brother go down, but kinda funny. Cause you was living for the money, for the money, for the money. You was living for the money. The money, come on. You was living for the money. The money. You was living for the money. Just enough. Come on. Come on.
That's the truth. All right, so next record I want to talk about is New Jack Hustler. Right now, this is one of my favorite Ice-T records, period, all time. He
Yeah.
kills this record. You know what I'm saying? The beat was dope. I always love that line when he be like, bust the cap on the Moet. Like every time Every
Yeah.
time I get me a bottle of that, I'll be thinking about that line, like bust the cap on the Moet. Like,
Yeah.
but his ability to rhyme from the perspective of a hustler and also show the downfall of it,
Yeah.
that was his like thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I always loved it. What's the other joint he did? The joint be like speed of life, fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass. It's like that's if you want to be a high roller. Love high roller because it's that same thing. Like he's a master at doing that. You know what I mean? So,
but it's the truth. A lot of people
yeah,
don't
for
talk
real.
about. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want to talk about the drugs, but you don't want to talk about
Right. The reality of it.
being
Yeah.
in prison and possibly risking your life every day and all of this stuff.
Exactly.
So
That's why I love that joint. And Mara Van P was right. That scene where Ice-T was chasing Chris Rock.
yeah,
He said that was actually supposed to be a car chase, but it would have ate up so much of his budget that they was like, all right, let's change it to a bike chase. And that actually was better to me, having to be like, he got to chase this young boy down.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And yo, Chris Rock, he was nice on that bike. He was nice on that bicycle, boy.
Let me explain something to you. Like, when you a kid, like niggas do not ride downstairs on bikes, bro. Like that's just, it's like you don't do it, because you gonna fly off that joint, like
exactly.
You know what I mean? So he had a lot of heart for doing that.
Yeah, he was doing good till he came off that cliff. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I was like, yeah, he nice on that bike. Imagine having to chase somebody who nice on a bike, like, and you gotta get your money back.
And you
man.
Listen.
But yeah, what you think about the New Jack Hustler?
Man, it's harder than DMC, bro.
Yeah, for real.
It's just one of them joints, man. Like, first of all, that beat, soon as that beat catches you right at the beginning, and then it's like when he comes, hustler. You know what I'm saying? Hit you with
I pulled the trigger long.
Bro, you already know what's on. So
yeah,
it's like, every time I listen to that song, man, like it just take you on a ride. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you could see the shit that he talking about. So I always really respected that song just for that reason.
Hustler, word, I pull the trigger long. Grit my teeth, spray to every nigga's gone. Got my block sewn on my dope spots. Last thing I sweat, so suck a punk cop. Move like a king when I roll hops. You try to flex, bang, another nigga drops. You gotta deal with this, cause in the way out. Why? Cash money ain't never gonna play out. I got nothing to lose, much to gain. In my brain, I got a capitalist migraine. I gotta get paid tonight. You motherfucking right, thinking my grip. Check my bitch, keep my game tight. So many hoes on my jock, think I'm a movie star. 19, I got a $50,000 car. Go to school, I ain't going for it. Kiss my ass, bust the cap on the Moet. Cause I don't wanna hear that crap. Why? I'd rather be a New Jack Hustler.
Right. Man, it's a banging ass song.
Is,
you know what I mean? Like,
and it was such a great song to use in that scene.
Yeah.
When he was chasing them, it just was a perfect marriage.
Let's think about it. What other song would you
could they have used? Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good ass point.
Yeah. For real. So the next record I want to talk about is In the Dust, right? Now this record was done by 2 Live Crew.
Yeah.
It samples Hercules by Aaron Neville, right? And
all's in fear is fear itself. Check out your own backyard before you check out someone else.
what's ill is, 2 Live Crew was known for really doing sex records. Like that was their
Right.
thing, right? So, this is a record where they're addressing police brutality, racism, how the government was destroying our neighborhoods with drugs. And it's a dope record, and it's much different than the records that they were known for at the time. You know what I'm saying? The beat was hard. To me, it reminds me of a Ghetto Boys record because, they had the Scarface sample in it, and Ghetto Boys was known for putting the Scarface samples on their records. And I just feel like if they would have been on this beat, they would have murdered this joint. I could
Yeah.
definitely hear Bushwick
Oh yeah.
on this beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, In the Dust was an ill joint by 2 Live Crew. Like they really did their thing on In the Dust.
Yeah,
And
I didn't. So I'm gonna tell you, right? Like I knew of the song,
mm-hmm,
but I didn't know that they did it. Like I just knew it was a
mm-hmm.
hard ass song. You know what
Well,
I'm
a
saying?
lot of people that watched the movie didn't know it was 2 Live Crew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind
because
of
it's not
messed me
that
up.
type of song normally. Yeah.
But then when I felt like it was dope too when Uncle Luke had like that little interlude space where he was speaking on the problems, you know what I mean, going on. And
let's talk about this man they call Nino Brown. The black man they call Nino Brown. You know, there's a lot of Nino Browns in every city in the United States of America. America has formed a Nino Brown in every city, basically because we have no way out. Is that what America really wants us to think? That we don't have a way out? Here's an example. You have never seen a black man come into Miami with pounds and pounds of marijuana, pounds and pounds of cocaine. You have never seen a black man drop off a kilo load of cocaine out of a plane. You have never seen this, but yet and still it's in our community every day, and we're the ones going to jail for it.
The system is designed to lead us astray, so we turn to drugs and guns for pay. It's a sign of the times. I got to get mine. All I live is a life of crime. I come up hard from the ran down.
And yo, so you know that jumper that Alan Payne hit in the movie?
yeah, was that
Yo,
real?
Maravan Peoples, yeah, he said he did that, one take. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's
He was like, he
crazy.
could ball for real. He was really hitting them
Yeah.
Jones out there. You know what I'm
He's
saying? He's like,
like,
I'm like the
yeah.
eye. Yeah, for real.
You live to get Michael Jordan fantasies out here. Business must be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said we was the baddest backcourt, and each one teach one. Oh man, they was funny in that joke, boy.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about the show, right? Classic
Oh,
scene
man.
in New Jack City.
Yeah.
The show was done, Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. This is not even on the soundtrack, which is surprising, but it's such a a classic
Yeah.
scene in the movie. And the show was actually done by Teddy Riley, and Dougie Fresh did that beat.
I did not know that.
Teddy
Yeah.
Riley helped Dougie Fresh on that beat. Yeah, because like Doug told a
Wow.
story about it one time, but Teddy was known for being able to do these swing beats. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? And he had I think Dougie might have already had the drums. He needed Teddy to play the Inspector Gadget part, right?
Yeah.
And he also added them shakers at
Yeah.
he did that, helped him with that.
Yeah.
And something with those little commercials in the song. He helped him with something there too. Like Teddy told the story about it, but yeah, like if you look at the record, like he don't get credit on the record,
Yeah.
but yeah, he helped Dougie Fresh with that beat.
Wow,
So
that blew my mind just now.
yeah, so
Yeah.
this is a record that came out in '85 and will forever be a banger at the party, man. And
That's right.
to this day, and that intro alone, that like when you
Yeah.
hear that, it makes you jump out your seat and run to the dance floor.
Right.
Excuse me, Dougie Fresh.
Yes!
Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic with 1 minute rhymes that don't come out right? They bite.
They never right.
That's not polite. Am I lying?
No, you're quite right.
Well, tonight, on this very mic, you're about to hear.
We swear, the best star rappers of the year.
So,
So,
cheerio,
yell,
scream bravo.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
And I don't even know if the youngest nowadays would know that keyboard sample was the Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that everybody loves, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you and I both know when Wesley came in the club and the girl gave him the champagne with the long straw,
Yeah.
legendary.
Yeah, that was some baller shit to do back in the day.
Legendary, bruh.
Yeah.
I never seen nobody do that. I meant to do that at my wedding too, dog. I meant to have somebody give me a bottle with the straw. You know what I mean? Legendary. But what's funny, I'm gonna give you something you got to go back and watch the movie for, right? If you peep, when Wesley comes in the club, right? Peep the chain he had on. Big chain. It goes all the way around, uniform. Soon as he goes in the back room, he had a different chain on. He had the chain that gets smaller around the back, right? You gotta peep it though. So the scene that he had on when he walking in the club is a totally different chain from the scene in the back room. You know what I mean?
You know that's what happens when you shoot in just over a month. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know?
Yo, so I remember my uncle, right? He had put me on to looking at their chains. Like in the beginning scene when dude's hanging my man over the bridge, that's where he was telling me to look. So I started looking at all the chains throughout the movie to see, like, yo, they got different chains on. And you know, Darlene, right? From she was Ice-T's girl back in the day, right? So she was on his album covers, she was on
I remember
Power.
that.
So she's in the club with him if you peep it. You ever seen that?
No,
remember he got the girls on his arms?
Yeah.
One of the girls is Darlene.
Oh, stop playing.
Yeah, that's what you gotta peep that. You gotta peep that. Yeah, one of the girls is when Nino and him look at each other.
Yeah,
one of the girls is Darlene on his arm.
That's crazy.
Yep. So yeah, you know, she's like a hip hop legend herself because she was around with Ice during that golden era. So she's known as Darlene OG Ortiz now. So
okay.
yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what's funny though, right? Nino had like, I'm gonna say, I don't know how much it was worth. Just say $20,000 worth of jewelry on, right? But if you peep, his sneaks was gutted when he went in that back room. I said, yo, you know he was a scumbag. How you gonna have all that jewelry on and your sneaks is gutted? You know what I'm saying?
That's like, that's not good. That's not a good look.
Wait till you watch it next time, because nobody pays attention to that when he's walking.
because you you're trying to watch the movie for the dialogue and watch the plot move. But you looking at chains and shoes and shit.
Bruh, you gotta peep those sneaks, bro. Them Jones is gutted. I say, yo, he's filthy for that. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna tell you another thing. That question that I always had by New Jack City. How did Nino get that architect level blueprint of the Carter, bro? How did he get that?
That's a good point.
That's a good question, right? I'm like, the way that blueprint was laid out, I'm like, how did he even get access to something like that?
For real.
Oh man, crazy, yo. Straight crazy. But yeah, when you think about the show, what does that make you think about? Or even that scene?
Well, I mean, I wish I would have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it made me feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be there, you know, when he's like, you want the flower?
Right. Oh, you gonna frisk me too?
Yeah. So everything about that scene, man, was classic. And then that song playing or whatever. And then you see Flavor Flav, yo, Nino, what's up, kid? You know what I'm saying? And that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, that's that song is just out of control classic, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That back and forth, you know what I mean? And then you going in, already know, like when you got Slick Rick on a beat that's fresh like that, and then you got Dougie Fresh going into it's just a different thing, man. You know what I mean? So it's a classic, period.
Absolutely. So, the next record I want to talk about is New Jack City, right? Now, this is like the self-titled song of the movies, done by Guy, produced by Teddy Riley. And, at this time, the New Jack Swing was in full effect. You know what I'm saying? It was just dominating R&B music. The beat was incredible. Aaron Hall had this, this great vocal and hook. Guy had the spotlight jumping in the movie.
Yep.
Even the bartender was doing the running man. If you peep, remember the bartender was doing the running man?
Yeah.
My man was jamming. Then Wesley was out there jamming.
Yeah.
It's like
when that bass came in.
Boom,
boom.
For real. Yeah, boy. Like, I love this is like one of my favorite scenes in the movie because it was like this was the mountaintop for them in the movie,
Right.
and it was like everything was all good. And that's what most people when you watch these gangster movies, that's the really what you're looking for is the good
Right,
times because you
right.
know it's gonna go bad.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And everything started unraveling immediately after.
Right.
You know, so New Jack City is just a straight jam, man.
I'm gonna tell you
And
what's ill about that too, because remember in that scene, you know, you see him and you see G Money and and Nino Brown together,
right,
and they were talking. And he was like, "Look, nothing will ever come between you and me." It was
right.
almost like we were setting up the scene
The
for
next scene.
that to be the opposite of
right.
what the hell is going on.
That's
And
right.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
right.
and
That's right.
it's ironic like that because I think that in life things like that happen. You think that the trajectory of
Right.
where you going is where you going, and it's not like that. Especially in the drug
Exactly.
game, because in the drug game is very random. There's you can't predict what's gonna happen next.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the truth. And it was like that next scene, which we're gonna talk about that too,
Mhm.
but it's like everything started unraveling right there. You
Right,
know, it
right.
seems small, but that's where it started, you know.
Right.
So it's like I love the scene. This is the scene where anytime watching the movie, I turn the volume up like as
Yeah.
loud as I can
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like they back there, they in the back room celebrating, they got the champagne.
Yeah.
It's just good times. They partying, you know, it's like the mountaintop of the movie right there. So
Turn it up just a little bit. Well, all right. Slim, give me a little bit of bass. This is the sound. Have your partner and get down. Everyone must know. Been here before. Now we're gonna give you more. It's time to let it show. Music is funky. Girls are so fine. Yo, fellas, y'all better push up. So sweet and fine. Oh, oh, it's too late. Yo, somebody say booty. Can't believe a thing about New Jack Swing.
you know, it's definitely an ill scene. But you know, what did you have anything else for that scene or that song that you
I just
wanted to touch on?
I really love the way that they had Aaron's voice sounding, like the
Yeah.
actual vocal recording, like what they put on his voice,
Mm-hmm.
because it just sounds in the in the pocket, like where it needs to be at.
Right.
And that's what makes to me that's what makes that performance so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then obviously Teddy is
And
killing it.
And the dancers was ill that they
Oh
had.
yeah, they was getting
The
it in.
dancers was killing it in that. Yeah.
They was getting it
for
in.
real.
But yeah, man, it's crazy because like it, when you make, I'm trying to figure out, like, when you produce a song like that, right? Like, he had a lot of stuff in it. He had like the soul power, like cuts in it and things
he
like that. And I'm
did.
like, like, are you thinking about this stuff when you're producing it, or you just
Teddy
like,
was. Nah, Teddy was locked in with that New Jack Swing, man.
Yeah.
And even I'm glad that you're talking about that because we're gonna shift over to the song of the week, right?
Mhm.
And this week's song of the week is actually New Jack Swing by Rex and Effects.
Yeah.
And Teddy is the architect, the creator of the New Jack Swing. And Barry Michael Cooper, right? He's the guy who wrote New Jack City. It was somebody else that wrote it as well, but he's a major writer for that film. And he came up with that title, New Jack Swing, for Teddy's music.
Okay.
He was working on a story on Teddy in the late 80s, and he came up with that title because it hadn't been labeled anything yet. But everybody knew that it wasn't just R&B anymore because, before the New Jack Swing, R&B was like Luther, Freddie Jackson, Anita Baker.
Yeah, it wasn't
R&B was
it
straight
wasn't up
R&B.
tempo. Yeah,
You
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
rapping.
Yeah.
Even if it was up tempo, you wasn't rapping
Right,
over those
right,
beats.
right.
Like New Jack Swing, you could rap over New Jack Swing.
Right.
You couldn't rap over Anita Baker, Sweet Love.
It's like hybrid. It's like a hybrid sound. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? So it hadn't been titled yet, and he was like, "Oh, we got to come up with a title for this." So that style of music, it just dominated R&B music for years once it got hot. You know, pretty much everybody that was doing R&B music had some kind of New Jack duplicate record on their album. It was like you had to have it. And it even started to influence rap records.
Right.
You know, it's like we were just talking about on the LL episode, like Around the Way Girl. That's a New Jack style beat.
It is.
Craig G's You Are Not the One. Those are like New Jack style beats. You know what I'm saying? So it influenced everything. And you know, with this Rex and Effects New Jack Swing record, you know, they was I think they was like Teddy's homeboys from Harlem. And I think his brother was in the group too. And I think he was saying one time that he got them to form a group because he wanted to keep them off the streets and everything. And this record right here was just hot as a firecracker, man. It's an absolute dance smash. And you know, there's a part on the remix that I love where he starts laughing. And it was like, I love hearing that part because it's like he knew at that time he was just dominating the music scene. That New Jack Swing took over, bruh. You know, and I love when he do his little rap and he be like, I got Keith Sweat, Heavy D, Today, Mo D, B Short, and my man Bobby Brown. I got Xana Man, Redhead, Boy George, James Zing, Deja, and my homeboys guy. And you got to get down.
I made the New Jack Swing. Yes, TR is my name. Making you dance to my thing is the way I entertain, baby. I made the beat you like. Yes, that's right, it's out of sight. All my beats are very hype. Yes, GR is moving it right. I got Key Sweat, Heavy D, Today, Mo D, Be Sure, and my man Bobby Brown. I got Xana Man, Redhead, Boy George, James and Deja, and my homeboys guy, and you got to get down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But they don't believe a thing about the New Jack Swing.
Yep. Yo,
flexing on
the New Jack Swing is crazy. I love that record, yo. Right. Yeah. If y'all don't know about that New Jack Swing by Rex and Effect, y'all got to check that out. Because that's definitely a New Jack classic, straight up. They killed that joint. And the video is dope too. You know, they got the ill guy jackets with the airbrush and the rhinestones.
That was a thing back in the day.
Yeah. That was ill, for real. All right, so we're going to get back into the records from this movie, and we're going to get into that I Want to Sex You Up. You know, this record was done by Color Me Bad. It was produced by Dr. Freeze, and he worked on Poison for BBD. You know, we talked about that on the BBD episode. And it was dope because he played the Betty Wright's Tonight's Night bass line sample on the keyboard. And, you know, this track, man, this song was huge in 91. Like, you couldn't turn on the radio for years without hearing this record. You know, it had a great beat, you know, great vocal, a great hook. And, you know, in the movie, you know, Nino was looking like a real creep when he was watching G Money and Uniqua. Bruh, you remember that part when he came back out?
Bruh, he was like, if he had to look like, if this nigga wasn't here right now, I'm violating. Like, that was the look that he had, straight up.
Bruh, he was in the corner looking like a creep, dog. Like,
but again, man. So this is why this movie is so like good. The writing is so good is because you already know where this is going,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? You see,
You already see
this is
it.
going to be a conflict.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, so
Yep.
now my thing is that again, he's foul. This is what I'm talking. So nobody talks about
Right.
Nino Brown being foul. This nigga's foul, yo. And then tries to justify the action later on by being like, "You
Right.
think I care about her?" Like, bruh,
Right.
the damage is done. You done already did what you did.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you made me look away.
man.
Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like the more the movie goes on, the more you understand, like, not why G Money, got on drugs, obviously, because that's
Mhm.
extreme. But I mean, like, just as far as like why he was feeling the way he was feeling, it's like, dog, like,
Right.
are we partners?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because again, like you were saying, like, I put you on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You was the brain, you had the muscle, but
Right.
I put you on to this.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was the one that showed him, hey, this is the next thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
he put the plan in together on how to take over the building and all that. But he, like he said, he didn't do it by himself. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a classic. And Color Me Bad was more of a pop group, but
Mhm.
they definitely had, like what would be called like an urban radio hit, right? You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? So yeah, they definitely had one with that joint.
Just make me feel so good. I just wanna look at you. Don't say anything at all. Just lay back, enjoy the ride. Yeah.
All I wanna do is sex you up all night. I want to sex you up. Makes me love it all along. Sex you up, feels so right, it can't be wrong. Don't be shy, girl, get with me. Sex you up. Open up your heart and I'll set you free.
So the next record I want to talk about briefly is the Redhead one, and this is the scene where they raided the Carter. They was playing that song like the Redhead one.
Oh yeah.
The Redhead one. So that was a dude, Redhead Kingpin, right?
Yeah,
so this song actually came out around like 89, and Redhead was down with Teddy Riley when he was like, I was just saying it, like, I got Redhead, you know what I'm saying? So he was down with that whole, like, it was like Today, Teddy Riley, Redhead Kingpin, because Today, all them dudes was like from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? So that's the song. That wasn't on the soundtrack either, but I just wanted to, touch on that.
I thought
And
I thought that was dope because it was like it fit the like it's
yeah, it's on.
yeah, like no control, like you know what I mean, you don't know what's about to happen. Like I think that like when they did do pick the songs for the album and they picked the songs for the movie,
right?
It was very strategic.
No one can stand up to the power of the kingpin and rule. No one can stand up to the power of the kingpin and rule. No one can stand up to the power of the kingpin and rule. No one can stand up to the power of the kingpin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It was, yo.
Yeah.
It was. I'm gonna tell you another thing you got to go back and watch the movie for. So you remember when they was trying to disarm that bomb?
Yeah.
Yo, Chris Rock, he blinked, bruh.
Get the yeah.
Bruh. Now he's supposed to be dead as fried chicken, right? Yo, he blinked. I said, yo, I never noticed that. I'm always looking for the
You fucking this movie up for me. I'm gonna tell you what's crazy though, right? You saying it, you know how you can see that he blinked? Because you got the shit in ultra HD 4K. You couldn't see that back in the 90s, bro. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They done cleaned
That
it up
is
so much
true.
now. You see
Right.
everything.
You see everything, bruh. When he blinked, I said, yo, they didn't catch that. I was like, come on now,
Bruh,
yo.
they had a little bit over a month to shoot the movie. you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the truth. That's the truth, yo. Oh, man, that was funny to me, bull. But we're going to get to the next song on the soundtrack. The next song is I'm Still Waiting by Johnny Gill. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this was written and produced by Randy Rand. And, you know, Randy Rand was a guy, he was down with Jimmy and Terry over at Flight Time.
Mhm.
And that's why it sounds like a Jam and
It
Lewis record.
does. It does, yo.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like that, you know, and you know, Johnny Gill was just killing everything at this time, man. You know, his self-titled
Yeah.
album came out the previous year and was crazy successful. You know, all the features that he was doing around this time and the soundtracks, you know, he was just putting out hits, man. And this is like a true Quiet Storm record right here. You know, this is one of my favorite Johnny Gill records, period. And you know, in the scene in the movie, this is where Nino was with that skeezer Uniqua having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
This was that scene in the movie.
Right,
you know, when
right.
right after the Carter got infiltrated. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
You
yeah,
know
what
what's
you think about this
You
record?
know what's crazy, dog? Like Johnny Gill is so funny to me, bro. Because it's like it's almost like he's competing with himself. It's the funniest thing, you know.
For real.
Because it's like he be going off.
He goes off,
and he
bruh.
like you could tell like he pushing like to get
Yes.
these vocals out.
Yes.
And you know he ain't nothing to be played with on a record,
Yo,
man.
You got to see
For
him a
real.
lot, bro. When I go to the New Edition concert, Johnny Gill, when he get his time to be solo,
Yeah.
he be snapping.
Yeah.
I'm talking about snapping for real. Like, yeah, that's just his thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I love this song, I'm Still Waiting, man. For years, I used to think it was a Jimmy and Terry record.
I thought that's what I thought when
Yeah.
when I was looking at it. I'm like, I ain't look at the track list, but the credits, but I was like, damn, this really does sound like Jam and Lewis.
Yeah.
And, you know.
that's that Flight Time production, man. Everybody was coming out of there had that beautiful sound, you know. But yeah, love I'm Still Waiting.
Shy away from me, girl. You know I'll never leave you again. Through thick and thin and till the end, I'll be here for the rest of your life. I'm still waiting. Oh, I'm still waiting. I'll never leave you. I'll never go still nowhere. For somebody who will be there for me when I need it. Who will be there
So the next record we're gonna talk about on the soundtrack is There You Go Telling Me No Again
yeah.
by Keith Sweat.
Yes, sir.
And you know, this was the scene in the movie where Keith Sweat, he's at the wedding, he's singing, you know what I'm saying? Again, it was a good scene. Everything was
Right.
lovely, you know, everybody was having a good time. And you know, this record right here, right, was considered like a new Keith Sweat record coming off of the I'll Give All My Love to You album, which was out in 90. And this set up the Keep It Coming album, which dropped in late 91. So, you know, to see Keith Sweat in the movie with a new song, it was like that was, you know,
It was
exciting.
ill, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And like for people who don't know, Keith Sweat's first 3 albums was classics.
Yeah.
Then he produced Silk's debut album, which was classic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So Keith Sweat was on fire at this time. And that's what I was saying about artists being in a prime. It's like you got prime Teddy Riley, Johnny Gill, Ice-T, Keith Sweat. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Williams was popping, you know, because of the record we're gonna talk about. Like, you know, so it was just people in their prime, man,
Right.
just making great records. So, but what'd you think about There You Go Telling Me No Again?
Oh man, that shit is classic, man. Like,
Straight up.
yeah, like
Straight up.
it. You know, as soon as you hear that, like, as soon as the song comes on, you know it's that song.
Whoom.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's just like he take you on a ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you know he be begging and pleading like, "Yeah, how you do?"
Especially in the movie, be like, I need somebody just like you, girl. Yo, he be going off in the movie.
Yo, for real. Yeah, man, this is a classic song, man.
Yeah,
And,
man. The production is just beautiful.
Yeah.
The way the keys are, you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? It's just a beautiful sounding
Yeah.
song. So they
and he stacked them vocals up.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
They killed that joint.
Yeah.
Produced by Bobby Wooten and Keith Sweat. So
Mhm.
straight classic.
There you go, telling me now again. There you go, there you go. I wanna be more than just your friend. Don't you know? Don't you know? There you go, telling me now again. There you go, there you go. I wanna be more than just your friend. Don't you know?
Another record I want to talk about that is on the soundtrack that you don't hear a lot of people talking about is Lyrics to the Rhythm, and this
Mhm.
record was done by Essence. Now, I actually don't even know who Essence is, right? Like, I only know about this record because of the soundtrack.
Right.
I do know that Grandmaster Flash produced the record,
Right. I learned that too.
and I always liked the song
Yeah.
because they sampled Tina Marie's "I Need Your Lovin'," right?
Yeah.
So on Tina Marie's record, we'd be like Lovin, I
Yeah.
need your lovin'. Like that's
Yeah.
why I like this song because they sampled that and
Let me give you something you can cope with. Found the telescope so you can scope it. Hoping it's smoking, my lips are doping. The rhythm by Grandmaster Flash, the man is no joking. I'm one of a common, the mild lyrical queen. I'm like a poet, heart and mind, I'm just me. Go to the flow, I'm so low, you know. Hey ho, don't walk, do the gigolo. Let the rhythm at the top be on the highs of the climax. Yes, you know the time, I'm not to check that atomics. Cause I'm about to get high my skills. Got my dancers and my dancers gonna get real ill. Skinning and grinning, beginning to drop a spinning. We begun the phone, we won, we're done winning it. So Flash, drop the horn so I can give them a message. My lyrics to your rhythm.
Yeah, there it is. Say what, Essence?
My lyrics to your rhythm.
They do actually play a little piece of this in the movie when it breaks down and it goes into that. Here we go. Come on.
Yeah.
So if you notice when my man was leaving the club and Ice-T and them ran up on him, was like door number 1.
Oh,
You get your
yeah.
head. They played that
Oh,
piece
that's
on this part.
crazy.
So they did play this a little bit in the movie, but they didn't play the main
Right.
lyrics to the rhythm part.
Right.
So did you ever hear this record before listening
Never
to the
heard
soundtrack?
this. Never heard this record. And the
Okay.
thing is that like, for me, I never heard this artist before, and I was like, all right, okay, she doing her
Right.
thing on there. You know what I mean? Getting the lyrics off or whatever, and giving Grandmaster Flash his props.
Mhm.
And it was just it was a dope record to hear, man, because it's like for me, like I said, going back, you don't really hear stuff like, especially new to me, you don't hear records like that anymore. So
Right.
it kind of just took me back to a time where this was the sound, and it just was. It's a cool record, man. Like I liked it.
Yeah. Lyrics to the Rhythm is a cool joint. So the last record that we're gonna talk about is "I'm Dreaming" by Christopher Williams,
Mhm.
and I feel like if there's one record that you hear on the
Mhm.
soundtrack that makes you think about New Jack City, it's "I'm
Mhm.
Dreaming."
Yeah,
Anytime "I'm Dreaming" come on the radio, you immediately start thinking about New
that
Jack
movie.
City.
Yep, that's
You know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? I don't know why, And again, this is another one of those New Jack style records,
Mhm.
produced by Stanley Brown. It's a record that everybody loves. Christopher Williams, did a great job with the vocal. It's just a classic, and it's associated with New Jack City.
Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm
that scene where the Ice-T comes in and he breaks into the crib, beats everybody ass or whatever.
Yeah.
It's nighttime, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I
then,
never understood
bruh,
this.
And then when he knocks his ass out of that window, it's daytime.
It's 12
He
p.m.,
been whooping
right?
his ass all night long. The longest ass whooping you can think of. That part right there.
Bruh, I
that's all-
said the same thing, yo.
But again, we attribute that to it being a month of shooting. So
Right, exactly. Oh man, yeah, that was funny to me, boy. So, all right, bro, you know what time it is. We gotta get into that top 3. This is gonna be very interesting. I think I'm gonna let you lead it off this time. This is gonna be an interesting top 3.
Okay. All right. So, top 3. My number 3. My number 3 is New Jack City.
By Guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number
okay.
3 is my
Okay.
and I just feel like that. I mean, that's just gonna make it. Like it's just
Right.
it's a smash.
Right.
It's just it's a classic song or whatever. My number 2 is gonna be I'm Dreaming.
Okay.
I really like that song a lot. I feel
Okay.
like again, anytime I hear it now, it takes me back to then. So it's kind of like
right.
I have that connection. So that's why it's in my number 2, and then my number 1 is New Jack Hustler. Bruh, that song is like it doesn't matter how I could listen to that song over and over and over and
For
over again,
real.
and it's
That's
still
the
hot.
truth.
Like, it don't
That's the
it don't matter. You could play this joint 20 years from now and it's still hot.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. All right, so look, I'm gonna give you my top 3, right? It's very interesting. So my number 3, I gotta go with New Jack Hustler. Right?
Okay, all right.
Told you, man, Ice-T kills that record. He's he on fire. The beat is crazy. The rhymes is ill. Break beats, all that, right? My number 2, I gotta go with that. I'm Still Waiting by Johnny Gill, bro. You know me, I'm an R&B dude. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, gotta go with that. I'm Still Waiting. That's my joint.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Number 1, you already know where I'm going. I'm going Guy, New Jack City,
yeah.
bruh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? New Jack City, number 1 record.
I knew that
on
was
the
on there already.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Man, that's my joint right there. So, that's the top 3. But yeah, man, this was a classic film that you can watch over and over. You can play the soundtrack over and over. It's one of our best. But so all right, we're gonna go ahead and get to the love note, right? So remember, always be humble and gentle. Be patient and show each other love. Humility is the foundation of a great character. Humility is the freedom from pride or arrogance. Being gentle is being kind to one another. So let's think about that, this week. And, the last line I want to say before we get out of here is, I think the American justice system is the greatest in the world. I'm proud to be an American. Hi, Mom.
Yo, that was he was really out of pocket for that.
Yo, when he said hi, Mom, bruh, that was
Yeah.
it. I was finished. You know what I'm
He
saying?
was out of pocket for that because it was like insult to injury for anybody
Right.
that didn't convict. Like he didn't get the conviction. And it's
Right.
Like, hi, Mom. Crazy.
Oh man. All right, so on that note, we gonna get out of here. We gonna catch y'all on the next one. We out of here.
Peace.